Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition, the latest edition of First Person, sponsored as always by the Precision Strip Company in Minster, Ohio. I say this each and every time. If you're looking for work, if you want to start a career, change a career, or finish, they'd like to know about you. They're always looking for good people. They may be looking for you, and you should check them out online, give them a call, or just stop in sometime and say, I heard about you on PressProsMagazine.com. That's the Precision Strip Company, our sponsors for First Person for 4 years, and we wouldn't do it without them, nor would we want to.
No,
Not at all.
not.
We're talking football this week. It's week 9 already of the area high school football schedule. And you just kicked...
I'm knocking stuff over.
You're just not kicking stuff over. We're going to talk football this weekend with Jeff Gilbert.
Fumble.
And Marcus Hartman, two of our Friday night writers. And you know, we thought it would be interesting to share with you some of the conversations, because people ask us, how do you decide who you're going to do on Friday night, who you're going to write, who you're going to see? What's the best football team you've seen this year? I'm not sure we have seen the best one yet. But anyway, I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to share what you see on a Friday night. And I think one of the things that is relevant to ask is who you've seen through 8 weeks that has really impressed you. And Jeff, I'm going to let you go first, because I think all of us probably have somebody we want to list in that category.
Yeah.
What do you got to say?
I'm going to start with Anna. I've been impressed by a number of teams, but I'm impressed with Anna because of how they've improved, how they've not let being young hold them back. You just saw them last week against Marion. I've seen them a couple other times. You know, they lost to a St. Henry, which was a really good game. They gave St. Henry all they wanted. They just weren't quite ready to beat them. I don't know if they are yet or not, but they weren't that night. Then they took care of Versailles, which I don't think anybody saw. Maybe saw it coming that they could beat them, but to handle them the way they did, and that was kind of their coming out. You know, and then they take Marion to the wire. And I just think with Ziegenbusch as a quarterback who can do a lot of things.
He's been impressive.
You know, in that league, you get a quarterback that can do a lot of stuff, you win a lot of games.
Yep.
And that's not the only thing you need, but it helps a lot. And so I've just been impressed with the way Nick Marino has brought that team along. And I don't think anybody in Division VI, especially within their region, was looking forward to playing Anna.
No, they're going to surprise some people.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Marcus Hartman, your first year with the Press Pros contributor on Friday night. We're happy to have you, and I know a lot of people are glad to read your contributions on Saturday morning. Your turn. Who have you seen that has impressed you?
I do. I liked Anna also. I saw them against Coldwater. That was their pre-coming out party. But I mean, for me, I've covered a lot of the MVL games, and I think Tip is for sure the most impressive team that I've seen. I feel like they have. I feel like they're trying to be a little more physical. I didn't see as many screen passes and sideways passes there in the games that I've covered as maybe last year. So, and I think they're a team that's kind of on a mission as well. I know they're good in the lines. I mean, they're good everywhere. I think and they've got a lot of different weapons. They're creative on offense. I think, and defensively, they've got plenty of things that they can.
They got a big toolbox, don't they?
Yeah. So I like their athleticism is there. I mean, you can't miss it, obviously. But then they don't get bogged down in doing too much of one thing. And in their league, they get some different kind of schematic views also. So I think that will probably help them down the line. And it hadn't hurt when they felt the sting that they got knocked out early last year. And
motivation.
And so they came in with motivation. And it really helps again when you've got a quarterback. I mean, that guy might be is the best quarterback I've seen in person for sure. And they've got some weapons. They're using guys in different ways. I think that. And he can run, he can throw, he throws a nice ball, and it's not like they're just throwing dinking and dunking. He can throw it all over the place.
And they've been challenged.
Yeah.
They have been challenged. They've had a couple of challenges. I would add a couple of my own. I would start, you mentioned St. Henry. Up in Mercer County and St. Henry, they have been hungry there since 2006, the last time they won a state title, when Jeff Starkey was coaching there for the Redskins to play like Redskin football, and they've done that this year. And I will say this, they're one team that I believe, I've seen him twice in person, probably see him again Friday night. They're one team that has significantly improved week by week by week. First of all, they've got some hurt people back, some injured players back, and they've had some young people like Will Speck, their sophomore running back, who's not very big, but he's real quick. Carter LaGuire came back to play wide receiver for him, and he's added something. So St. Henry is one of them. You mentioned Tip City. I'm going to say the Troy Trojans. I think the Troy Trojans, nobody was talking about them in July and August. And since that time, they had a good loss on opening night. Now, when I say there is no such thing as a good loss, but they played hard against Middletown, a pretty good football team. And since that time, they've done nothing but win. And I think they've corrected some things. I think Troy Everhart is running the ship there. They're a team that's going to run, and they do what they do. They control the ball, they shorten the clock, and they make you beat them. So there's two teams right away that I think have and I know you've seen them.
And I would say, and Troy, they know who they are.
Yeah.
You absolutely know who they are. It's Aiden Kirkpatrick running the show on offense, and Everhart is like the ball. The more the ball is in his hands, the more he feels like he can win a game, and and he thinks. And of course, for him, Aiden's the best quarterback, right? I mean, he loves his kid, and I get that, and so he loves that. And defensively, they're strong, and it'll be interesting to see them having to play Division I in the playoffs against a lot of schools that play a lot of D1 teams, and they don't. It's going to be an interesting thing to see how they stack up with that. Of course, they've got the big game with Tip this week.
Someone who's watching this is going to say, what about Marion Local? Because they won 72 games in a row, and I'm the one that sees the MAC most because I live up there in that area. I will say this about Marion Local. What they have done to win 72 games in a row, lose 18 starters or 18 seniors last year, and come back and run the table so far this year. And Tim Goodwin said, hey, when you lose 18 people, there's going to be some adversity.
Yeah.
You're going to have to overcome some things. They've done it 2 out of the last 3 weeks against Versailles and, of course, against Anna last week in double overtime. So until somebody can beat them, they're an impressive team for the way they've gotten to where they are.
Right. They just you can't be that great forever, right? As great as they were last couple of years. And so they have come back a little bit. But them coming back is not enough so far to get beat. Yeah. And I find that interesting because they're there. Tim knows, hey, we could lose a game because we've almost lost 2. They know that, and I'm sure those kids don't want to be the team that.
No.
They don't want to be the bunch that loses.
They don't want to be the team remembered for losing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, let's go on. And the other thing that people ask us about now, it's amazing. 8 weeks are going.
Yeah, I know.
It must be you coming on. And
it's hard to believe because it's still so warm.
And Mark is adding his rev to this thing. But let's talk for a moment about teams that might surprise you in the kind of impact they're going to have in the postseason, which starts in 3 weeks. Teams that maybe you've seen that they're not quite what you think they ought to be yet, but when you get them out of their league, and you get them out there in the hinterland against teams that are unsuspecting, this team might surprise you. You go first.
Well, if they can get in, I think Butler has some impressive skill guys, and they run a little bit. What's different now is they're a pro-style kind of an offense, running the I formation and the sprint draw and stuff like that. And I've seen them, I saw them 3 times get beaten badly 3 times, but I think by 3 good teams. So, Troy Everhart said, they kind of remind you of the 90s Cowboys, and he was really not joking. He just meant in that style of play. They play drop-back passing. They've got a real tailback, a good guy to catch the ball. It's been tough. They have not been good enough to keep up with the top 3 teams in the MVL. But if they get in, it'd be interesting to see kind of what they can do. Is like I say, a little bit of a different style of play, and they've got some guys. They've also had discipline problems. They have a lot of penalties in the games that I covered. That's something. If you can get that cleaned up later in the season, you can be a lot tougher to play against.
All right, Gibby.
Who's going to be good? Who's going to surprise me?
Who's going to? We talked about this all the way back from Champaign.
We did. And of course, I said, well, Anna's not the surprise team anymore, right?
No, they're not. They
would have been, but they're not. So I honestly, that's a really hard question to answer for me. I think I will say this: somebody in the MAC who's not Anna, St. Henry, or Marion Local is going to make a run, right? You just know that that's going to happen. So who are the candidates? Minster, Coldwater, maybe Fort Recovery, and definitely Versailles. Possibly, although Versailles being in a higher division. So I'm just there like, I don't know which one it's going to be. I haven't seen enough of them. Coldwater's history suggests to me that maybe they figure something out. I saw them week 1 and I was impressed the way they could score, but things have changed on that. So I mean, maybe I guess if you had said you got to pick somebody, I'd say, well, Coldwater probably make a little run because Coldwater is used to this time of year and they know what it takes.
I don't want to leave out St. Henry, and here's why I say
Well,
that.
they wouldn't surprise me if they
They
went all
wouldn't
the way to the regional
surprise,
final.
but here's, as I opened with a few moments ago, you know, people have been waiting there. I mean, people are hungry there
Oh, yeah.
to see postseason football that's relevant, not just 1 and out or 2 and you're done. They want to see them restore a little bit of the legacy. And I think that team there, first of all, they got a lot of senior leadership. Got a lot of kids that play together. They're strong from tackle to tackle. They've got speed in the backfield. They can throw the ball. Charlie Whirling, a quarterback, has improved significantly as a passer this
He's
year.
that MAC quarterback that
And
can
he's
carry a
that
team.
he's that MAC quarterback that can carry a team. He's got that type of leadership skill, and I just think they're playing with a lot of confidence right now. They've got 2 games to win this week and next week, and they could easily finish 9-1. And if you're 9-1 and coming out of the MAC, you're a confident football team.
You ought to be.
You're going to be a confident football team. So that's one. Here's one that none of us have mentioned yet. Preble Shawnee and Tri-Village play Friday night. They're both unbeaten, 8-0. They're going. The winner of that is going to be probably the outright winner, or no worse than a share, depending on what Arcanum does in their game with Ansonia, of the WOAC Conference. Now, that's not the same as the NFC West. Let's understand that, the Western Ohio Athletic Conference.
No, it is
On
not.
the other hand, those 2 teams are averaging about 50 points a game. They haven't really been challenged this year. They're exciting to watch. And again, in Division 7, with 7 divisions of football, and we've talked about this obnoxiously,
Obnoxiously, that's the
about
best
with 7 divisions, are there enough athletes to be competitive in all 7 divisions of all the sports now? I think those 2 teams, one of those 2 teams, if not both of them, are going to surprise some people and make life miserable because, again, you've got a quarterback, that Sagaster kid, Trey Sagaster at Tri-Village, is cruising around 3,000 yards passing yards.
Right.
And that's hard to defend in Division 7, as we
they've
know.
only allowed 59 points, I think.
And
I mean, Preble Shawnee has impressive numbers, and Tri-Villages are even better.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
amazing.
And no one has really heard about that because they don't get a lot of attention. They deserve the attention, but there's not a lot of media down there.
No.
And I just think that those teams
And
are
we-
going to be interesting
Right,
and fun.
And we haven't been down there to see them because we want to pick, to your other thing you talked about talking about, we want to pick the best games as much as possible to go see. And so we have plans to see them this week.
Yeah, and I was looking at somebody's, the teams that those 2 teams have really fattened up on this year collectively in the league are 14 and 42.
Yeah.
And, that's not competitive football.
And that's not their fault.
That's not their fault. You got to play who you play.
Right.
But when you get them out, Marcus, when you get them out and against a number 10 or 11 or a 12 team, whoever they're playing, church is out when you start trying to defend the forward pass 30 times a game.
Right, yeah. Well, that's maybe it's coming back around where that's not something you just see every week again. So you've got to go out there. You got Sidney Lehman is another team that they're putting up crazy numbers as well. So that'll be something that it'll be interesting to see what they can do. I mean, their quarterback threw for. He got tired of throwing for 500 yards, so he threw for 600 yards last week. So, and he's got a receiver with a 300-yard passing game. So, it'll be interesting to see how the styles kind of mesh there in the first couple rounds.
You're talking about Turner Lachey, and he may be one of the 5 best athletes in all of Ohio Division 7 football. I mean, he absolutely can play.
Yeah, I talked to him before the season, and I said, "But what's your best sport?" And he said, "Baseball," without hesitation. So
That's his favorite sport.
Football's the thing for him to is more of a hobby. If you check his social media, it's all baseball highlights.
Well, we got a couple of really great and exciting 2 weekends to finish the season coming up this week, Friday night, and of course next week, week 10, before we get into the playoffs. And of course, we'll be out there every night. It'll be fun. We appreciate certainly your readership and your support of what we do here on Press Pros. And we'll wrap this up by saying again that the First Person is brought to you each and every week by the Precision Strip Company up in Minster. Whether you're starting, whether you're changing or finishing your career, They'd like to know about you. They're always looking for good people. Again, I repeat, thanks for your support of everything that these guys do on PressProsMagazine.com, and we'll see you again next time with another edition of First Person. Have a great weekend and be safe.